slowly have mandatory voting? No, like to know your opinions on it. Can I go first?
Well, there is a bit of a problem with that, isn't there? Because in Australia they do the same thing, and Adams and Abbots and people at the top tend to get in because they have their names being named. So I guess we have Allen and then Greef, which, you know, maybe that's not the end of the world, but it's not really fair either. I have a bit of a controversial view. This is my personal one now, not a Labour Party policy. I was talking to a really apathetic man in Cambs, and I said, what's your view on politics? He had lots of views, but he said, I'm not going to bother voting, what's the point, we're all the same. You know, just look at how different we are. And I said to him, okay, well, what if then your vote, instead of it being like a mandatory vote, you had to go and do it, what if you didn't vote, your vote went towards the government of the day, because you're obviously happy with what you've got, and you don't want change? And he was horrified. He said, I'd go there straight away and I'd vote for something. And I thought, well, why not? You know, that's not a bad idea. If it means that your apathy is kind of assume that you're happy, apathy, keep that one. You're all right. If you're happy with the government of choice, then maybe your vote should go towards that. Now, that's my own personal view. I think it would be a way to get people involved. But that's kind of a negative thing, isn't it? What's wrong with having a positive thing, trying to inspire people, trying to make them want to vote? It's kind of, you know, that's a better way to try and get people inspired. And I think engaging young people, giving them a vote, giving them education, making it more relevant to them would actually be a better way. I think the actual answer to that is a bit of a politician's answer, isn't it? The actual way to do that is something that I'm listening out at the moment from people to see what they say, and I certainly ask my students almost every day, to the point where they're getting bored of me. So I think that's the other question as well, positive engagement. Who next?
I'll go with the original one.
Thank you for the question. The answer is no. Nobody should be forced to do something like voting. We may all think that it's an absolutely brilliant idea and it's participating in our democracy and it's our way of life and all the rest of it, but actually, you know, liberal, it kind of says it in the name, so no. However, I would just say one thing, which I say to anybody who I canvass who says to me, oh, I've never voted and I never intend to, is as I'm walking back down their path, say, you know, if you don't vote, you don't count. And one person actually yelled after me, you know, what are you going to do about the road? And I turned around and said, nothing. You don't vote, you don't count. Full stop.
Crikey, those are harsher than I thought.
5 years of coalition.
That's scary.
Better for it, though.
My answer is a sort of reluctant no, in that I obviously want to see as many people engaged in the system as possible. As I said before, I do believe that proportional representation is the key to that, to actually try and inspire people by ensuring that their vote counts is the key, first and foremost. The other thing I'd say is that we should perhaps also look at how our countries run right down the system. Because Parliament is very divorced for a lot of people, and the Green Party would be trying to devolve powers down so that we're giving people at the most local level possible the power to be involved in the decisions that affect their lives. And I think if we can really crack that properly, that will also inspire people to get more involved. Because if the guy that Sebastian met was actually able to go to his local parish council or his whatever it turned out to be, and had a real voice, and had an effect on where they built the houses in the village, or what they did very locally, then I think that would help as well.
An interesting question. I believe in Australia they are fined for not voting. I wouldn't exactly go that far. Answer to the question, probably no. I think if you want to vote, you're going to vote. It's a bit sad though when you think about how long it took to actually get the vote, particularly for women, how people fought to get the vote, and how in some undemocratic countries which are now just practicing democracy, they're queuing up to vote and still, sadly in some cases, not able to. So it is sad that people don't practice democracy, and again, like you said, if you don't vote, you don't really have a voice. And getting people involved and asking questions, I actually do think that in most local council areas, anyone who wants to know anything can usually approach their local councillor. I've been a councillor myself, so usually you'll get some response. So I don't really know what the answer to it actually is at the moment.
can hear me, I'm actually going to do without this because it's a bit patchy. Okay.
I think no. For none of the reasons we've mentioned actually, but if I were to find myself in the shoes being the MP, or a cabinet minister, or the Prime Minister, if I felt that my constituents, my people, were so disenfranchised with me that they couldn't even be bothered to vote, I think I'd want to know that. So it's a message, isn't it? Unlike any other message. If your people don't care enough, if your people are so uninterested in what you're saying, that's a powerful message, and it's almost as powerful as people all voting for the same party. So if I have a lower majority, if I don't make it, if I'm not elected, that will be a huge message to me, and I think it's a very important one, and for that reason, I think the ability to not vote is just as important.